Donna Jo Napoli's novel, The King of Mulberry Street, follows 9-year-old Beniamino, a Jewish boy from Napoli, Italy, who stows away on a ship bound for New York City in 1882. Fearing his Jewish identity will be discovered, Beniamino adopts the name Dom. Though he longs to return to Italy, he faces rejection in America, where he is stigmatized as an illegitimate child. Forced to navigate the harsh streets of New York, Dom befriends a triangle-playing street child, a kind-hearted store owner, and another orphan. Over time, he learns that families are not defined by blood, but by the bonds they create and nurture. The story begins in Napoli, where Beniamino lives with his mother and 8 other relatives. His mother, unmarried and with a child, is ostracized and struggles to find work. Eventually, she decides they cannot survive under these conditions. One morning, she wakes Beniamino, helps him dress for synagogue, and wishes him a long life as she helps him board a cargo ship bound for America. After being thrown off the ship, Beniamino is separated from his mother, but stows away, determined to find a new life. A fellow stowaway, who is harsh and warns Beniamino to stay hidden, shares the journey. When the sailors discover him, they offer him food and, seeing his Jewish background, give him the name Dominic to help him blend in as a non-Jewish American. The other stowaway dies, and his body is buried at sea. As the ship continues its voyage, Dom keeps to his Jewish traditions, even while learning to adapt to his new environment. Upon arriving in New York, Dom hopes the ship will return to Napoli, but is thrown into the harbor by Franco, the ship's crew member, who had promised Dom's mother to ensure he reaches America. Dom swims to shore and joins the line for immigration, where he learns about the padrones, a group that brings Italian boys to work in exchange for their labor. A padrone attempts to abduct Dom, but he is saved by immigration officers who offer him advice for surviving on the streets of New York. Almost sent to an orphanage, Dom escapes with another boy and heads to Mulberry Street, where he takes refuge in an empty barrel. There he meets a street child who plays the triangle for money and a compassionate shopkeeper named Gaetano. The novel has been praised for its vivid portrayal of the resilience and creativity of young immigrants who, despite facing prejudice and poverty, manage to create fulfilling lives for themselves. Dom temporarily trades his shoes for the beggar boy's triangle and makes a little money. He then finds a different shop owner, Mr. Grandinetti, and works for him to save up for a ticket back to Napoli. Dom is heartbroken when he discovers that Gaetano has sold his identity papers. He and the other orphan boy, who calls himself Tin Pan, begin selling sandwiches on Wall Street to make a profit. Gaetano protects them from the padrone, Mr. Grandinetti lends them his cutlery, and Tin Pan uses his English skills to sell the sandwiches. As the boys start to earn enough money, they begin to spend it on little luxuries and take up lodging with Signora Esposito, who charges $2 a week and prepares dinner for them each night. One evening, Dom is beaten by a man who mistakes him for a homeless child when he relieves himself in an alley. Signora Esposito tends to his wounds. As Dom's street business grows, Gaetano starts calling him the King of Mulberry Street. Dom begins selling kosher sandwiches to Jewish customers down on Baxter Street. Tin Pan, however, is employed by a padrone who mistreats him terribly. Dom seeks help from a priest, but all he receives is clothing to bury his friend. Gaetano and Dom urge Tin Pan to leave the area before the padrone can harm him further. Tin Pan reveals that his real name is Pietro and hides at Signora Esposito's place, where she disguises him as a girl. He goes to work for Mr. Grandinetti under this new identity. Dom is surprised to learn that a ticket back to Napoli costs only $25. Though he wants to return, he's torn because he's grown to love his new community like family. Pietro disappears, and everyone suspects he has gone to rescue the other boys from his padrone. Against Gaetano's advice, Dom searches for him on Crosby Street, where he confronts the padrone. The padrone beats Dom and ties him up. Dom realizes too late that the padrone has killed Pietro. Grandinetti and Gaetano rush to the scene with the police, rescuing Dom just in time and arresting the padrone for murder. Dom falls into despair, believing his actions contributed to his friend's death. Once again, Signora Esposito tends to his injuries. In the novel's poignant conclusion, Dom finds a Polish Jewish butcher and asks to be taken to synagogue. There he mourns for Pietro, reflecting on how, though different from the Polish Jews, he can still practice his Jewish faith alongside them. The King of Mulberry Street closes with an ambivalent ending that captures the complexities of immigrant life in the Ellis Island era, emancipating yet harsh. While many immigrant children did not survive the challenges, many, like Dom, came to love their new country and formed chosen families from diverse backgrounds. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.